Asteroid of fear.
Welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast. It's not sounding as loud as I want. There we go. Instead of ducking down, just adjust the mic, fool. That's been my week. Rolling in hot, trying to get this done. It is Friday night. I have had a long week. This is going to be Caregiving Chronicles and kind of just general announcements. Yeah. Just a good old what's gone on this week, what's coming up. So, let's go with first things first is the 28th will be the last episode of the Men of the House podcast. You're going to get this one on Saturday. You're going to get me leaving Austin, relocating to where I am, how I got here on the mic in front of a camera, and that'll be that. That'll bring you up to speed. Everything about me, pretty much from birth till now. And then I'll just do a last Saturday episode, end of the year, end of the season. It doesn't mean it won't ever come back. It just means for now, that one's going to end, and I'm going to focus my efforts on your peak performance partner, getting that website built, getting the coaching going, working on a podcast to accompany that. And yeah, that's what I want to grow. That's where I need to water. You water the grass where you want it to grow. Novel idea, right? So, all the effort, time, editing, this, that, the other, I put into this, I need to be put into that. But I am paying to keep it up on Buzzsprout, so, because I am going to kind of rebrand, and all these episodes, once I rebrand, they will be underneath that, but they're going to be there, and they're going to be in YouTube under the Men of the House podcast playlist, so you'll always have access to them. Yeah, it's not going away, just this little ditty concept for a while is going away till I can get the other thing launched. Then maybe I'll have them both online. I have no idea. I had no idea this would be happening. So it should be about 111 episodes by the time it finishes. I like that number. But yeah, that's kind of how we got here, was one decision to start a podcast in July. I think it was 26th or 27th of 23. And I need something to do, a direction to go. And then it was onto the Podcast Connection Network, playing in that space, and started interviewing people on Podmatch. And then it's like, there was always this notion of, hey, you need to sell something. Like the podcast is kind of like your advertising type of thing, and you need to be selling something. And I had no idea what to sell. So my idea was, hey, you just sell yourself, and whenever it's time to sell something, you'll know what it is you need to sell. And then comes along, I do some interviews with some guys from an OU and take advantage of some breakthrough sessions, and then go into group coaching and then business coaching. And I had this accountability coaching idea a long time ago, and it's just kind of, hey, I needed to be selling something. And during this time, I'd been working on habits, goals, all that jazz, making a lot of progress, losing a lot of weight. And so that's how your peak performance partner has come to fruition. And now that's the lawn that needs watering. So I have been working on that a lot, getting the accredited coaching courses complete. Still got the marketing and website build one to do, but I'm going to get that done. Didn't happen as fast as I wanted. A little disappointed in that, but it's like 85 hours. I just completed 30 of the other, and I've already done some on the website, but I was like, at least I can start coaching before I have a website. I still got Instagram and all that kind of stuff I can use. So that's kind of how it went. I'm gonna have to, that one's kind of going to be the long haul if I'm doing it myself and learning how. And then, of course, with a podcast, now I know what's required. I can be recording stuff before it even launches. I just want to launch it differently. This one, I sat down at a table with a pair of AirPods. I thought I wasn't recording for a second. Yeah, I sat down at the table with a pair of AirPods and Spotify for podcasters and just started recording. So I want to put a lot more thought into this. Uh, if it's going to be how I want to make a living, then yeah, I better put a little thought into it. But at least the week I'm laughing. So that's a start. Um, we're ending the week better than it went, I can assure you. And probably coming to that conclusion was, part of this week, so it was a challenging week. You know, we think I said that maybe Buck wanted to close his bank or something, his local bank. He has like another bank and then his local bank, and it's too much information. But the point is he has to get out to go to these appointments, and we got there too late. And the chase is like it takes over an hour, yada yada yada. And so all the work was for not much. And then we went Wednesday to a different one, and it turned out to be a good 4.5 hour trip, a lot of transfers. That's the point I'm making, is it's a lot of work for him, for us. Yeah, it's not easy, and it's difficult for him to sit for a long time, and then we waited forever for food because we didn't want to cook because we were all tired and knew by the time we got him back in the bed, it was going to be time to eat. Nobody wanted to cook. It was an all day affair, so it seemed like, yeah, 100%. But I don't know what it's been. I mean, I do and I don't. Part of it's growth. It's like part of the journey they call lonely land, where, I'm so focused on what I'm doing. And, when I definitely, when I had the goal by Tuesday with my next coaching session to have this 85-hour course done, and I was like, oh, it's 85 hours. Oh my gosh. And I just finished because I had a goal to finish the last coaching one by last week. And it took me all the way to Sunday. And I mean, that was getting up early Sunday morning and doing like 4 hours, 5 hours. So Monday, it was like going to be, all right, I'm going to finish this. And then, like, I was doing some errands and I was going to get my daughter. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, he wants to go to the bank. And so I picked my daughter up early because it was like this last minute thing. And then, it just didn't pan out. So that was disappointing. Felt like he did a lot for nothing, but we tried. I think I had some good workouts that day. But that took a lot out of us. And then Tuesday, kind of don't remember. But I do remember like Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday even. Somewhat today. Like it's not being very great. Um, I pushed myself a lot. And then it took a lot, on Wednesday. It just took a lot of time. So maybe I didn't get a lot of personal time. One, um, I was pretty achy. There was one day I was super frustrated, and it was probably Monday or Tuesday. I was just kind of standoffish. Probably shouldn't have been. Went for 3 walks that day, coming in at 39,995 for some steps for the day. Yeah. Walking and listening to a podcast and sorting things out in my head is about the most constructive thing I can do. It gets me away, gets me moving, gets me thinking. I'm not breaking anything. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not hurting myself. Other than the strain, I paid for it. So you take everything I was doing plus all the exercising, especially because I was frustrated and just not communicating well, not being received well, one or the other, both. When I tighten up on myself, sometimes I tend to tighten up on others, projecting, not right, but it happens. I acknowledge it, I can admit it, which means I can correct it and do better. The other thing you have to watch out is, I remember in management is, when you come home, your wife and your children, they're not your associates, they're not the people you lead in that way. I mean, you should be leading your family, but you can't talk to them like they're your employees. Made that leadership mistake before. Now I have no employees. I have me, and I push me. Um, and so by default, I kind of push them a little too when they're not asking to be pushed, not asking for the challenge like I am. Yeah, it's another mistake, but I'm learning. I'm just trying to get there and pushing myself. There's nobody else to push me. I'm kind of siloed in what I do a little bit, but I have to push. I want to push. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not complaining about it. But it's up to me to redline myself to find where the edge is. It's okay to break a little bit, burn out a little bit, because it means I care, it means I give a shit. So, I mean, I took a couple of days, laid off on the walks, got a little more sleep, let my body recover slightly. Just now made it from the red to the yellow on the third day today. I did go for a light walk today, but kept it to one, kept my strain range within range according to Whoop. So, trying to follow advice, trying to slow down, trying to reset, pivot, and do better. That's what I learned this week. It's been a hell of a week. Had a lot of selfish thoughts that I've been struggling with. also just having to acknowledge and, understand certain things about myself and depart from them, and whether it's behaviors or anything like, all right, you've done them twice, maybe three times. You need to stop. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. Stop stepping on your own wiener, to put it politely. Yeah. Stop getting in your own way. I think we all do it a little bit. I'm not afraid of succeeding, so it's not that. It's just out of alignment a little bit. Needed to get back into alignment. I had a couple moments today that certainly helped. There was a moment this morning that Buck wanted me to wash his back, get a new shirt because he was itchy, and he thought maybe it was dry skin, and asked me to rub his back with some lotion, and just having him kind of grab the chair in front so he was leaning forward and stable, and I could rub his back. There was a moment that it was just like time was still. There was nowhere else I needed to be. I was there, caring for someone who's not related to me, not my blood, just a fellow man who needs others to do what he can't do for himself, to nurture him back to health, nourish him back to health, help him get wherever he is going to end up being. So, and then another moment before I went to help a gentleman who we help in the mornings get ready for dialysis. I'll be seeing him tomorrow in the morning, and saw him this evening to make sure he was clean and, has the night till I get there in the morning, because he's unable to transfer on his own either. So, but he doesn't have anyone to spend the night with him like Buck does. And yeah, going in and doing that, it'll, serving another will take care of your selfish thoughts real quick. I go away. So remember what's important, and remember to go out and be the person that you would want to meet.
Asteroid of fear.